Good morning.
Good moaning, coffee moaners. Who fancies a moan, a groan, a giggle, a deep thought, a bit of silliness? Because you're in the right place for the next half an hour, 45 minutes. You can spend it with us in our home. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Just hit the little thing, just go ting, and it makes us happy. And check out everything else we have on our channel: movie reviews, TV reviews, vlogs, travel shows, gardening, cookery, mental health. We're a one-shop shit fits all.
It's an Aladdin's cave of cornucopia. Edward Bevington asks the killer question of the day: are we going to be popping on the heating by the end of the day? That is the big question.
Yes or no?
I've never seen a face more shocked or slapped than one of our daughters as we went out this morning. She went, "It's cold."
I know. No, that's this country for you.
It's cold. Where did that summer go?
No, but actually it's good for her because our daughter is at college and it's one of these newfangled buildings, very eco-friendly. Yeah. So there's no aircon, but it has a system that cools the building, but it doesn't. It just heats up the building. So nowadays when it's a sunny day, all I think is, oh God, what's Maddie's day going to be like?
Let's just be united.
Say, come on over to my place.
Come on over to my place.
We're having a party. Right. Business.
Do you like bananas?
Mark, don't start. Don't start.
What? Do you like bananas?
What? Okay. Yeah. No.
No, I know you don't. I think
sometimes I do, but then weirdly, I will suddenly go, I've got to have a banana and nothing else will do.
It's weird. I have a banana moment. Does anyone else have that?
Mark, you have 10 banana moments in one day. You have got to stop eating so many bananas.
I had one yesterday.
Only because I stood over you with the broom saying, do not have another banana.
That's very odd. Blink, and I blink if I need to be free. Let me out of here. It's my birthday, 68 today. Penny Albertella jewelry and meditations.
What, 68 today?
68. Let's do it now so we don't forget.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Penny. Happy birthday to you.
Squash tomatoes.
I knew he was going to do it. Sorry, Penny. Bananas.
I know, I've done that bit. Squash bananas. It seems appropriate. We were talking about bananas. Whose face is that, Nads? You know her. You've acted with her.
Oh, Sherilyn Fenn. Why have you got her on your t-shirt?
Twin Peaks.
She was so
horrible. Oh, Zoe Agnew. I feel insulted that Nads didn't believe me that I'm messy, says Zoe.
No, I was showing everyone how messy our kitchen is over there because we couldn't be asked to wash up last night. We were all exhausted. And Zoe tried to pretend that she never leaves her kitchen messy. Oh, no.
You've got it wrong.
No, I thought you said you never. You can't bear to leave the mess. I've got it wrong.
I mean, if you're not careful, you're the kind of person who could post something that's got something on it that makes a mistake and then gets you cancelled.
Yes.
You've got to be careful.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about Gary Lineker. It hasn't been officially announced, but The Sun leaked it last night.
And the BBC have been talking about it on all their headlines, on their podcasts and stuff.
Gary Lineker, does he resign? Is he pushed? Is he being fired?
Well, they're saying mutual agreement, aren't they? The leaked.
But that always means fired.
I'm really upset, actually, and really angry about this. I feel so frustrated with this. Yeah. We're at the age now where nobody can make a proper apology, and his apology was... Nobody's apologising for what's going on out there, are they?
No. It's really important that one stresses this important distinction. No one person is answerable for Israeli foreign policy. But if you're demanding that people make apologies within the topic here, I think the same people could demand an apology from perhaps the Israeli government. Yeah. That would be kind of nice. Anyway, so we're going to talk about that. I've got a kind of contrarian approach to this. I think this is going to be the making of Gaza, personally. I think he needs to get out from under the BBC.
I think he's going to, because he's so talented, isn't he? And he's very smart, so he's going to do something big, I think.
Have you ever seen him score a goal?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to pretend I know anything about football, but, you know, he's funny, he's honourable, he has a strong moral code, and he loves fucking crisps, and so do I. Crisps are my favourite thing. Crisps are my weakness.
Walkers.
So...
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about Joe Biden has been diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer. We're going to be talking about that. Nadia found a very interesting story last night about, have you developed and have you got a Netflix bum? I presume that's from sitting around watching telly all night. And 6 ways to make yourself more attractive. But before we get going, let's just remember that Eurovision was this weekend. What a load of old cock that was. Eurovision, what a load of old nonsense. I mean, the thing that really kind of perplexes me about the whole Eurovision thing is that it was so clearly rigged in so many different ways. And yet,
in your opinion,
and yet, in my opinion, and yet, everyone is so fast to squeal about phone improprieties on things like I'm a celebrity and things like that. But on this one, no one seems to be bothered, which is kind of curious.
And have a look around on social media. Some really interesting posts with all kinds of.
Morning, Christos. Not seen you in the room for a while. Christos is here now. Morning,
Christos.
Everyone. Lovely to catch you live in a world where chaos is the new norm.
Yeah.
Heard the news that apparently Germany's new bill to strip citizenship from people opposing certain policies. Yeah. Quite remarkable. What a weird world we live in, eh? Okay, well, let's start with the main event, really. As I say, we are yet to have an official statement from either Gary Lineker or the BBC. So we are waiting for that. And apparently that announcement is going to be made at noon. I think it's going to be a shared statement, probably. Now, this is obviously, just to give those of you who don't know who Gary Lineker is, he's a major news sports pundit in this country. You know, a lot's being made of the fact that he presents sport. And when you work for the BBC, as he has done for years, there is a kind of responsibility. Nadia experiences this a little bit. Anyone on camera for many of our major channels, especially if they're public service broadcasters or have a PBS, remit, you can't display or promote your political opinion in certain ways. This really applies more directly towards journalists commentating on the news.
Well, it is journalists and it's BBC, isn't it?
And he's a sports presenter, a sports pundit. So there is some kind of, there's a kind of grey area as to whether he's allowed to or should be allowed to express his political opinions. But of course, last week he reshared a post, a sort of 2-minute catch up on what Zionism is. And on that post, unfortunately, there was a cartoon of a rat. And it is frustrating because, as I said to someone else this morning, it's the kind of post that if I was to look at it, I would immediately have known, well, yes, that is an image that relates to a propaganda image from World War II in which Jews were characterized in the media as rats, as vermin, etc. And so it was an inappropriate post. It had an inappropriate anti-Semitic image on it.
Which he acknowledged fully in his apology.
Yeah, he acknowledged all of this.
It was very, watertight apology, I think.
It was a fulsome apology. And I think it was an apology, curiously. I mean, they often say, don't they? Donald Trump often says this. He's, politicians say you must never apologize, because as soon as you apologize, it's a little bit like letting damp into a crack. Eventually, the foundations will fall apart. So, at the end of the day, do you agree? Do you feel his apology should have been accepted?
Absolutely. I think that we all make mistakes. In fact, there was a particular radio presenter today that made a bit of a mistake that we'll be posting about later. I wonder if he will be apologising for what he said. It's quite shocking.
Yeah, on that note, I did hear something. I rapidly came back, couldn't believe my ears, nearly had to do a handbrake turn, nearly phoned in, and we are going to be talking about it and sharing it across our social media. And also
somebody that's very against Gary Lineker and is constantly saying how appalling Gary Lineker is. So, but it'd be interesting because maybe it was just a slip of the tongue.
Yeah, and these mistakes can happen.
It is really easy to make a mistake and I think most people make mistakes when they're reposting something.
Yes,
you can catch your eye and I'm sure he's the first to say it was, silly. What he does, his apology is pretty. We are now in a world where you can't apologize, where you can't make a mistake like that. I just think it's just such a shame.
He had no choice but to apologize. He had no choice. He had to apologize. But the point I'd like to make is those clamoring for the apology have not sought equivalent apologies for infinitely more egregious acts by other parties in this genocidal catastrophe.
Some of the things that have been said, I will go back over and over with some of the way that the BBC has reported deaths. And, you know, we've had arguments, haven't we, with various news channels in the way that they have worded things. We actually got a headline taken down, didn't we?
Yes.
And you know, this just feels like people were not going to stop until he was down. What I worry about with that is there's already very, very few people that are in the public eye that will stick their neck out and say that they are against the obliteration of a people, which is what's happened to Palestinians. They're too scared to say it, and this really worries me, because is this a way to really frighten more people from speaking out in case you say something wrong? And it was wrong what he said, and he apologized.
Well, he didn't say it.
Well, no, what he posted. But if you've posted
Yeah.
something, you're effectively saying it, aren't you? And my God, you know, sometimes I've gone to post something, to repost something, and it's just that. And what we do is we check amongst each other. We say, you know, is this okay? Da, 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 da. But it's really easy. You can be tired, you can be overwhelmed, and you just post something. So just with everybody, just be careful of that.
No, I would liken the repost to, you know, the old adage, more accidents happen coming down
the hill,
than going up. The idea of a repost, for many of us, I think what happens is, you know, everyone's very busy, even if you're, you know, if your business is social media, etc. We're all very busy, and sometimes something hits, doesn't it, that articulates a thought, and you think, oh wow, that's really resonates for me. And you might have half an eye on it, and you go, oh, that does the job, and I don't now need to spend the time because I'm doing something.
Yeah.
And what we do is, we, as a shorthand, we reach towards it. It's quite natural.
It's human.
But it's ever more incumbent on certainly anyone who's fighting for the Palestinians, fighting the cause, fighting for humanity, of whether you're Jewish, Muslim, Christian, whatever. If you're fighting for humanity, fighting for an end to this absolutely appalling foreign policy of the Israeli government in Gaza, for which the vast majority of people in the world see it for what it is, you've still got to be very careful and attentive to how you go about promoting or posting in support of Palestine. I mean, things have been made infinitely more complicated too, of course, because of the whole, you know, prescription you know, there's the question mark over whether Palestinians are allowed to have self-defense and you know, a minefield has been created, and Gary tragically stepped on a mine, and he tried to own it, and I think he owned it, and I think he absolutely dealt with it perfectly.
Immediately deleted.
But it's not enough.
And now, of course, they're conflating everything, trying to build a picture of what he supposedly is. The fact that he was one of the signatories on the letter to keep the film, the Gaza documentary. I am one of those proud signatories as well.
Yes.
Very proud.
Yeah.
Because I think it was the story of children facing the most horrific experiences you could imagine to put upon a child. And I think it's very important. And I think that's what we expect from the BBC. But you know,
well, I would say, can I just?
They've always wanted him to say he regrets signing that.
I do want to just go off on a tangent, just because you've mentioned the Gaza documentary. I would say that we were the first, if only, people at the very beginning to say actually a due diligence detail was dropped in the airing of that documentary as a producer. I could see where they'd made a mistake, and the mistake was not in having made it, nor having filmed with who they filmed with, but in not alerting the viewer, who could then have made their own informed choice and decision. Because what's now happened, the BBC, and we're going to talk about it in a separate Gaza chat, but the BBC are now holding a crucially important documentary all about the medics on the front line in Gaza.
Oh my God.
And by all accounts, lots of signatories have signed up to the BBC releasing this. Basement Films, the production company, have had to reach out and apologize to everyone who very bravely contributed to that documentary. The BBC are holding that in a limbo period whilst they investigate the Gaza documentary. And I promise you that will never happen.
They're trying, yeah. Anyway.
So who thinks, okay, just pivoting away from, because as I say, I think at noon today, the final statement's going to come out. But I do want to ask this question. I personally do genuinely think that this could free Gary Lineker actually to be more active and more of an activist than perhaps he feels he can be. I mean,
I hope so.
Let's not beat around the bush. He was only presenting
so wonderful
the World
to have
Cup.
someone outspoken. What's wrong with what I mean? Oh,
And you know how they used to always say, back when I was a kid, if footballers did things wrong, they'd always hit the papers, and there would always be this line from sort of MPs. They go, but you're a role model. You need to be a good role model. I think someone like Gary Lineker, you know, taking on a topic like this is a fabulous role model for youngsters. So I think another way of looking at this could be the making of Gary.
Chief says the sports, that's the one you like, isn't it? The sports
agent.
Oh,
the Sports Agent podcast on Global. If Lineker joined that. Oof.
But he's got his own podcast.
Oh no, I don't know the Sports Agent. No, he's got Goal Hanger. Is it Goal Hanger? Which is kind of funny because he was a goal hanger, and I was telling Nadia.
Is that what he was?
It
hangs on the goal.
A goal hanger is a pejorative term for someone who just hangs around the goal waiting for a stray ball to knock in. Which, to be honest with you, he was very good at doing.
But he was a very good footballer, wasn't he?
He was a very good goal hanger. Yeah. Have you seen Gary's interview with the Assembly? Very authentic.
No, but I will, because I love that Assembly. We haven't really got into that enough. Bits and pieces I've seen of it. It's phenomenal.
Nora Doyle. More and more people are being punished for being outspoken.
Yes, and that's dangerous.
Absolutely. Okay, well, shall we show a funny? Or shall we show an inspiring? Shall we go to the Hague?
Let's show funny.
A funny. Okay, well, let's show this child here. Do you want to tee it up? Because I think
so. This is a little girl. I don't know how many of you know Miss Rachel. She is a huge YouTube and social media, TikTok,
toddler
children's influencer. And actually, she's been very, very attacked, hasn't she, by the Israeli authorities for her work with toddlers. So, but anyway, these children adore her, and just watch this little girl and her dad.
Let's go.
Close.
Yalla, Papa.
Close.
Papa, please come on,
No.
Papa, وصلنا.
Close.
Papa, الله يرضى عليكي.
Close.
Please, Daddy. We need to shower.
Close.
Hello? This is Rachel? How are you? You're waiting for Yasmina? Yalla, she's coming. She's still in the car. Sorry, we are late. Yalla, we're coming. Yalla, Mrs. Rachel at home. Yalla, Mrs. Rachel waiting for Yasmina.
I love the big mosquito bite on her leg, I have to say. Oh my God, that reminded us of Maddie.
Oh my God, that so reminded us of
But Maddie. That daddy thing, desperate.
Oh my God.
And there's quite a few videos of him doing that with her. It's how he gets her out of the car every time. Miss Rachel is waiting for you. So cute.
Yeah, Alice Barber. Miss Rachel is training toddler Hamas soldiers, according to It's Not Real.
Yes.
Yeah, she started following us actually, Natasha. Interesting. It was fun because we did a huge campaign when she was being targeted to support her. Let's just pivot towards The Hague. A number of you have mentioned this really empowering march in the UK this weekend. Some estimates are putting it at 500,000. I personally think that's a little bit too large.
We have no.
But the Independents suggested 20,000. I can guarantee you there was more than 20,000 just immediately around me. So somewhere in between, I reckon it was probably more like a 200,000.
And it was really, we were there, Mark and Dina and I, and it was just that amount of people peacefully walking week after week after week. The drums, the sense of belonging, as Mark said, as we're walking along, we've been walking in silence for quite a while, and he went, oh God, does it feel like knowing everybody here is thinking and feeling the same way? And as we were going through, I was getting a lot of really upsetting messages through from Children Not Numbered. So it was so strange, wasn't it? Messages that were coming in from kids. We had to evacuate the school in Gaza, the Children Not Numbered school, because the bombs were dropping and the threats and the leaflets, just horrendous. But at the same time, we were with this group of like-minded and like-hearted people all walking together. What was it Miss Anne said? Sarah said to us, Miss Anne Harriman said, that the streets of London are bathed with humanity today. Such a poet. I loved that. And so I felt really honoured to be there. Did you?
To be brutally honest with you, I think a lot of the anxiety we all feel is the fear that everyone you come across and everyone you meet in the day. My first feeling and thought, usually now, unfortunately, is what is your stance on this? Where are you at on this? What are you going to be like if I was to tell you what I'm upset about, what I'm distressed by? How are you going to either disappoint me or give some kind of validation, or even if you don't
Or if you
agree,
ask,
be
I love
respectful.
it. Or people that go, do you know what?
Oh,
Somebody
yeah,
at work the other day at Luce said to me out of the blue, she goes, what is it all about? And I went, well, thank you so much for asking me. And we just had a bit of a chat, and it was so nice.
So for that moment, I literally said to Naz, with the potential exception of the police who were around, you could look anywhere and you thought, oh, I know we would agree on this, we would agree on this. The only hostility was one very angry guy, Zionist guy, charging through with a rage in his face.
Dean said he stank a boo, stank.
And there was a counter protest again, which was a provocative counter protest. I just want to read Christos about Miss Rachel. Yes, a constant presence on TV in our home. Our little one loves her. Such a wonderful soul. I've used that trick so many times.
Have you?
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it?
This is the dad trick. I love that.
Yeah, and Zoe says she sent you on Insta. She sent you a reel of or a post about an Irish woman at the march.
Oh, lovely.
Sherry Lagoon. I know they're reporting 500,000. Look, I'm just saying instinctively, having been in many crowds, it didn't feel that many, but it certainly didn't feel as little as 100 or 200,000. It was a huge outpouring. But yeah, let's not quibble, because it was massive and it was meaningful, and it was not covered by any of the mainstream media at all, other than the Independent. It said 20,000.
Nikki, people just don't ask questions. They see my stories and know how upset I am, and they just say nothing.
I don't know how people can say nothing.
I am with you on that. I have so many people in my life that are the same as that, and it just breaks my heart. Some days I just think I can't. I just literally can't.
But this is footage from The Hague. This is really impressive footage. Massive protest on The Hague.
No, but everyone's wear red.
Really clever idea.
Really clever.
Drone footage. Brilliant drone footage.
This is one of those guys. Official drone movie. I think you should get a credit for this, because it's fantastic.
Yeah. Zoe is saying a lot of my friends ignored my reel. To be fair, Zoe, a lot of those you feel would have ignored. Well, no, and also the algorithm just will not push your content out to people. I post.
If you want to be sure, DM it to everyone.
Oh, here's a clever little get round as well. If you, I was saying this to Nadia and Dina, if you create a story from scratch, and say you were to write something like, Amnesty International finds that decides that Israel is committing a genocide. If you write that yourself using the text, it will perform less. It will perform less well than if, say, you reposted Middle East Eye or somewhere else. It said it somewhere else from a reputable, obviously, say Amnesty International posted it. If you were to repost their story and not have written your own word, genocide, it will reach more people. So the very act of writing your own text alerts the Instagram app into you generating your own content. It's just a thought. I mean, we've also said, but also the caveat is be careful with what you're resharing. But if, say, Amnesty International, it's a good one, Amnesty International were to declare, or Oxfam, or Children Not Numbers, exactly, reshare theirs without writing the word again, and you might reach more people.
And also just break up the spelling.
Yeah, there is that, yeah.
Okay, so let's move on.
Faith Goodman on BBC Question Time, just finally, they had questions and the presenter said they don't have many Gaza requests for questions recently. I don't believe them.
Wow.
I just don't believe them.
Wow. Yeah. Disgusting. So there's no thought. Oh my God. Anyway.
Okay. We're going to just briefly talk about, this is the story, Joe Biden. Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. He's reviewing treatment options with his family as the cancer has spread to the bone. Donald Trump posted a message sending his condolences and hoping for a swift recovery. I couldn't tell if there was some kind of dig in there too, because I mean, it doesn't look like a good prognosis for Biden. Obviously, the silver lining of anything like this is heightening and reminding us of the importance of prostate checks, making sure that, men are mindful as to the condition and what the symptoms are, etc. Donald Trump said on his Truth Social, Melania and I are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Joe Biden and the family, and we wish Joe a fast and successful recovery.
I wonder who wrote that for him.
Yeah, exactly. Kamala Harris said, I mean, it's very hard, isn't it? Because, of course, we're all so sort of, Joe is a fighter, says Kamala Harris, and I know he will face this challenge with the same strength, resilience, and optimism that have always defined his life and leadership, she added. It's sad when anyone is diagnosed with anything like this, regardless of what your political opinion on them is. It's
and for all the family,
it's for the family
and those that love them.
Exactly. Just double checking that this isn't the Gary Lineker story.
So, have you got a Netflix bum? Can we have a photo of the Netflix bum? Is your bum? Now, I want to know, put this bum up. Put the bum picture up, Mark.
Oh, I haven't got it.
Oh, maybe we'll get cancelled.
Yeah, we will.
So that's the bum.
Okay. We don't know that. I think that's probably a library photo. Yes,
no, I know, but that kind of a bum. Is it squidgy? Is it flat? Has it lost its je ne sais quoi? Its joie de vivre?
It's no longer pert.
It's no longer pert or...
I don't know if I've ever liked a pert bottom.
Gluteal... What do you mean?
I think if a bottom's so sort of
what kind of bum
athletic,
do you like?
One you can grab. I mean,
yeah, if it was hard.
When you're all together, I don't mean that to sound odd. I mean, not grab it. I hate, this idea that you just go. Who was it that we were hearing just went around goosing people? It was just like, oh my god, not like that. When you're in a consensual relationship with someone, it's nice when it's one that you can.
So you don't. So these gym bums that are like round and hard could crack nuts.
Well, and also the kind of Kim Kardashian bum, which feels like such an accentuated version of something that I like to be quite natural. Nice dimple.
Alison Barbara says she's had a Netflix bum since birth.
What is a Netflix?
When you say dimple, what do you mean?
I presume
cellulite.
I presume the common man's cellulite.
Oh, you like cellulite on a bum?
I don't. It's real. It's real. Yes.
My God.
Depends what it's doing.
He's just trying to get me to showing me my bum, aren't you?
Not on here. No, I'm not that much of a perv. I like it. I like your bum.
So if I said I'm going to go over there now and I'm going to show you my bum.
Do it. Let's see what happens to my eyes.
But he's not that much of a perv.
This is a scientific test.
Right. Now you want to see me in the mirror? Is that the sort of bum?
Just going to come back to you in about...
No, but is that what sort of bum have I got?
Yeah, you've got a little dimple there.
Where?
Just on the right.
Yeah, as the kids used to say to me, Mum, why have you got holes in your bum?
No, they're not holes.
So
there's just a dimple.
What sort of bum would you say?
Oh, actually, there is a reflection. I could see you in the...
No,
I'm joking. Oh, that was too funny. Who cares? It's behind you, says Rachel Pickard. I think you've got a gorgeous bum. I love your bum. I mean, okay, let me be brutally honest in the spirit of total transparency.
I like that bum.
Hang on.
I would like, if I was a man, I would want to squish that bum.
When you wear a knickers like that, your bum looks like that. When I'm walking about the kitchen just minding my own business, as I do,
very rarely I'm minding your own business. Very rarely.
I'm never minding my business. I often have a bit of an ogle of your bum.
And what's it doing?
Well, it's usually just hanging around. But I always, if you were to get up now and go over there, if you were just matter of factly go over there, I would definitely catch you look all the time.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah.
And then when you're looking, what are you thinking? Actually, stop.
Yeah,
okay.
Really.
So what's happened here is if you've got one of these, it means that you have gluteal amnesia, aka dead butt syndrome. I don't know why this made me laugh so much. It's when our bottoms forget what they're made for.
Oh, what are they made for?
Well, they're not for sitting down.
Well, they're not just for shitting, because that's the
No, we're not going there.
Can I just quickly read this just in the spirit of balance?
They are to sit down.
Laura Lou, when we talk about bums, it always goes back to female bums, but I love a good peach on a man.
I was going to get there, Laura. Yeah, you've got a lovely bum. You do want a nice bum.
As we were.
So far too much of our modern day life means we're sitting on our bum, and that is true.
Dawn Decker, right? I went to make a cuppa and we went from Biden to bums, as one does.
So dead butt syndrome occurs when the gluteus medius muscle, one of the key muscles, now this is the important
I thought he was an emperor.
We've gone past what Mark finds sexy because they are very important because they help stabilize the pelvis and support movement.
Oh, gluteal amnesia.
Gluteal and so your butt, literally, we forget what our butt is for. If your bum muscles aren't strong, you will suffer with your knees.
I think we have to.
So you have to keep them strong.
We have to do the same then.
Oh God, he's getting his bum out. I can't see a thing. Yes, very nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
You didn't seem.
Mark, I'm on alive.
Well, so was I. But I was thrown.
Yeah, but you're a dirty perv.
I was thrown into a.
What do you want me to do? Throw myself on the floor?
I was thrown into a cross-eyed fit of perplexion.
Right. Okay.
sorry.
Good. Right. So the glutes surrounding the muscles of the lower back, hip flexors, and hamstrings. Right.
Oh.
So overcompensate for the gluteus medius failure to fire up. So your glutes will overcompensate because your butt is not firing up. And whenever I've gone to any kind of osteopath or orthobionomist or whatever for my knees, they always give me butt exercises, because if your butt isn't working right, you get knee pain. Simple as that.
Joe Wicks says that the two most important muscles to keep going in your body are your butt and your quads.
Your quads,
your thighs and your butt. He gives them equal emphasis
but
for
actually,
everything.
Sorry, Joe. You do also need your glutes, because if one thing's too big and the other, it all pulls out. So you've got to have just strong legs. They say your youth you carry your youth in your glutes, your quads and your butt.
So you carry your wind in your butt.
Because if they're all strong, your knees are going to be better, your pelvis, everything. So, and where is this? They give some really good exercises. You know, the clam, we've all been given that one. Do you know what the clam is?
No.
When you do, so imagine, hang on. Oh, no, I've got to. Okay, so these are your legs.
Oh, yes, that.
And you do that, and you can put a band on it to make it stronger.
My butt's got much stronger over the years.
The lifting one, you know, you lie on your back. It's always a bit embarrassing in the gym because it looks like you're pretending you're having sex. I don't like doing that one with anyone around. And of course, squats, dumbbell deadlifts, which I only started doing a couple
Romanian
of years ago.
deadlifts, they're great.
Dumbbell deadlifts. So if you're having trouble with your knees, wake up your gluteus maximus that's got amnesia. Give it a little tap.
Sorry, just hot off the press. Quick. They've just done a very quick interview with Donald Trump.
Sleep at a meeting in Saudi Arabia. Fake news. I closed my eyes for 2 seconds thinking, deep thinking, smart thinking. I just flew 12 hours, no sleep, straight into high-level talks. And guess what? I still ran the room. No teleprompter, no naps, unlike Sleepy Joe. They call it dozing off. I call it global strategy. America's back. Stronger, smarter, and wide awake.
Isn't it? I said to Mark, this
God.
is actually our new spitting image.
Yeah, it is.
AI is our spitting image, and we shouldn't just go, oh God, it's AI. There's a lot of really clever stuff. I mean, that's great, isn't it?
Totally agree.
So love it. Okay, should we quickly run through how to be more attractive?
Yes, so how to be more attractive. These are 6 surprising lessons from science.
Yes.
There's your first one.
Yeah, and I'll give you a little hint here. Most of it boils down to don't be an arsehole.
Yeah, whilst Nadia's finding that, I'm just going to play this footage, which we did post as a short, but it does deserve playing again. This is
this is wonderful. I love this clip so much.
This is Emma Stone being attacked by a bee. Austin Butler tries to blow it.
But look at
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. Look, what a hit. Oh, they're both so, look at those two men saving. But then when she goes to full Geeksville, look. Oh, slow-mo. Look how beautiful he is.
Yeah, he really is.
He's so
beautiful. Debonair.
Maddie just melts over him, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She goes like melty chocolate.
I just love him. He's so fearless, says the country pumpkin. That's the word. That is the word to use. Fearless. So come on then.
Okay. So, of course, beauty. Yes, you, of course, are beautiful in every single way. You radiate gorgeousness, charm, wit.
Thank you. She's not saying this. She's
elegance,
reading this
and
if you're listening.
beyond measure. But you might not feel stunning all the time.
No.
What a load of nonsense. Who needs to feel stunning all the time? And for those that feel they're stuck in their ugly duckling era, there are endless fads, trends, and products that might be thrust their way, from wrinkle taping. I want to get mouth taping. So you look like that. So it's proper snoring. And beauty hacks.
Turmeric mouthwash.
So attractiveness truly is relative. So the science of attractiveness is a bit of a sticky subject. It's become popular, certain men, we don't want to need that. Sorry. That's not the bit I want. No, where is it?
Years ago, you did that getting up from the floor exercise without using hands. Faith, we couldn't do it now.
Yeah, listen, this makes me laugh.
Right.
Let's wait for this. You are more attractive on a roller coaster.
Because you're not thinking about how you look.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's
but
exactly
apparently
what it is.
It's not. The person that's on the roller coaster and scared looks at the person that is screaming and is more attracted to them. Because the adrenaline tricks the brain into mistaking fear for romantic arousal.
What? Hang on, I'm so confused. That's too complicated a thought.
Yeah, riding roller coasters can make people seem more attractive due to adrenaline tricking the brain into mistaking fear for romantic arousal.
I thought.
So if somebody's being a little bit lukewarm, take them on the biggest ever and make them look at you. And at the point that they're terrified, they're going to look at you with all their adrenaline and go, my God, Miss Jones, you're beautiful.
Is it the same concept to take it going on a date for going to see a horror film on a date?
Maybe.
So you get them scared.
I think it's more that you feel attached.
Yeah. Do you want some popcorn?
Yeah.
I thought it was more about the fact that people just aren't thinking about how they look. So they look awful. They scream, they shout, you see their cavities,
their true selves.
They vomit, and you're like, oh, you're so real.
So in today's world, this is good news. There is no conclusive evidence, this is science fact, apparently, that wealth is inherently attractive.
That's nice.
Your beautifying efforts are probably better spent elsewhere.
So don't flash the dash. No, smash the cash.
Yeah, apparently it is not the biggest thing in the world, which manosphere will have you believe it is.
Zoe said she had a guy run away from a wasp on a date and I got the immediate ick.
Well, maybe he's a sensitive soul and maybe you made a big mistake. That's toxic masculinity.
That really is, Zoe. You could do better. You could do better.
So now we get to how the butternut squash can make you more beautiful. So basically orange vegetables, and there is some truth in this, definitely. It may seem like a strange route to gorgeousness, but the pigment in the orange vegetables and fruits, and I would also add to that purple, literally will make your skin glow. The more fruit and vegetables, the more you glow.
Hang on a minute, this is total nonsense.
It's true.
So in that, by that extension, so the oranger you
This is researchers at University St Andrews have found that eating more of these foods makes your skin glow with a golden undertone.
So what you're saying is when we use things like moisturizer, we're going for it's a quick hack to get the same thing that actually orange fruit would give us.
Whatever skin color, it's a different thing, moisturize. This is about getting it in a glow. Whatever skin color your participants have, making them a little bit more yellow, indicating good diet makes them reliable.
I disagree. If I met someone who's a bit more yellow, I think they've got liver failure.
Yeah, but you're not going to be yellow. You're just going to have a bit more color to it.
It just says someone looks a bit more yellow. I think liver
failure. So like carrots, butternut squash, oranges. Okay, this one is a lot of people are going to be excited about this. Physical appearance matters far less than you'd think, especially if you're a man.
Wow.
Yeah. Despite what the gym bros tell you, physical appearance is not the be-all and end-all. Well, I will let you know, gym bunnies, that most women I know do not like an over-muscled man.
I was going to say, are you a big abs fan? Do you like a tummy with...
Like abs.
Boom, 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 boom?
No.
I've desperately wanted to make that sound, running my finger down my tummy. Boom, 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 boom.
I mean, obviously, it's always nice if somebody's looking after themselves.
Yeah, you don't want a great big... You don't want my stomach big and splatty landing on you.
No, it's not. Mark, don't be disgusting.
I wasn't being disgusting.
Don't be horrible. It's not that. It's about if somebody like, who tries to eat healthy and tries to look after themselves is better. People do not just prioritize how hot someone is. They want to know who they are.
These are all ideals, but I don't think anyone goes out and goes, oh, he's eating carrots and he's got a big tummy. I love him.
But partners tend to match really well on attractiveness. If you get independent people to rate two partners, they'll probably rate their attractiveness as similar, which suggests that people are matching rather than leveling up.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
Does that mean don't be punching above?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
That'll be why. Do you remember at BBC Bristol, people would say, I'm sure you two are siblings. People would often say we're almost similar.
I love number 6.
I've got curly pubes.
Just be nice. Just be a nice person. This is from La Marche. No, what university is this? Is this as well? The most important attractive trait of all is to be nice. People want caring partners. They want someone they feel they can trust. That is the biggest influence on attractiveness.
Yeah.
Warmth, kindness, listening to someone, you will win the race. Slowly wins the race, because somebody that is really full of themselves and very good looking and very they often can't, they often will fall foul on that.
So basically, if you're chewing on a carrot, really listening to someone and not going to a gym, you're actually a bunny rabbit. That's a bit weird, isn't it?
And you know what? If you're a man looking for a woman, don't be looking for a woman. Look to find out something interesting about them. Don't be looking to see whether you can have sex. That was that podcast we did, wasn't it, with that young chap from America?
And if the relationship goes well and you do end up having sex, believe me, there's a lot to be enjoyed about a dimply bum.
Dimples
really.
are
Dimples are all the rage.
Are.
Intellectuality and kindness, says Crystals.
Exactly. Can we have a look at this? This is now. Whenever I used to leave Mark and go out,
YouTube says men have to be funny.
Yes,
Does
and
help.
funny. Whenever I used to go out when the kids were little, everything would go wrong, wouldn't it, Mark?
Yes.
So I thought you'd like this one.
Oh, sorry.
I've done this one for you, Mark.
Thanks. I love that. I love the fact that he'd already laid himself down like a patient.
I can't breathe, Daddy. Actually, it wasn't the best idea to have him lying down if he's got something stuck in his nose.
Can I just say that speaks
I would have
to
had
so
him
many
leaning
truths.
forward.
It's less about what would happen. What's happened historically is whenever Nads has a girly weekend away or something like that, disaster happens in all of the children's lives, whether it be friends, boyfriends, something catastrophic. And I'm always like, in this kitchen,
really
at some point
nervous
going,
if I'd go out.
oh, why is this only happening when your mum's away? It's classic. And Play-Doh up the nose would have been a more simple one.
Mine was cherry pip up the nose. I sent that to Mum. I said, did this remind you of my cherry
so
pop
sweet.
pip?
That's so sweet.
But yeah, I would, I don't know, look it up. I wouldn't take any advice from that. I would imagine, though I'm no doctor, that it would be better to have them sitting like this.
Yes.
Because what if it sniffed it down his throat?
Absolutely.
Very sweet.
A lot of relatability here for a new dad. Well, relatively new dad, Christos here. I've been there before. So now when we play with Play-Doh, we stress that when we make Play-Doh pizza, it's only pretend.
The trouble is, we were saying the other day, me and the
It's hard,
girls,
isn't it?
what is it about Play-Doh? The smell of it
it's
just
so
makes you want to
divine.
chew it, and
Rachel-
you just mustn't.
Rachel Picard, one of mine put a pea up his nose, had to use a snot sucker to pop it out. We used to suck their snot out.
We didn't have snot suckers when our kids were little. You just suck it out with their mouths.
You were a snot sucker.
Mother's love and mother's
On that
love.
note. Okay, anyway, we will be back this week. We've got How to Stay Married will be landing. We didn't do one last week for obvious reasons. Another Gaza update will be landing, and we will be doing a Trump's America. We haven't done one for a while, and there's a lot of, as you've seen, footage around the big Trump himself, the orange man. I wonder if he eats carrots. That's Cheetos.
He only eats McDonald's and Coke.
Did you see in Saudi Arabia they had a portable McDonald's pull up just for him? Okay, guys.
The levels of obscenity that went on in Saudi Arabia are just quite.
Anything else you need to say or want to say as I sign off?
No, just guys, as usual, if you can follow Children Not Numbers, and don't forget, if you do want a chance to win 2 tickets for a Premier League game, is that the right way to say it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hospitality box, everything laid on. All you have to do is sponsor us. I'll walk to Gaza. Mark will put the link up under here. Sponsor us, and you'll immediately be up in for a raffle.
And Georgia Foster, you're absolutely right. If you go to the community page, you'll have a description and a reason for why there was no curly cooks this weekend. It ties totally in with the catastrophe and ongoing genocide in Gaza.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thanks for all your support. Something will land later.